the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, and the fear of whale rupture. On orders from federal officials, BP delayed a key pressure test on the new oil cap below the Gulf because of concerns that the test could damage the wellbore, a BP executive said. There were a couple of other concerns around ways oil flow could escape, and we needed to go examine those before we proceeded. Doug Suttles, BP Chief Operating Officer of Exploration and Production, told CNN. An unstable area around the wellbore could easily create bigger problems if the leak continued elsewhere in the well after the cap valves were shut, experts said. It's an incredibly big concern. Again, it's an incredibly big concern, said the Director of Professional Geoscience Programs at the University of Houston. They need to get a scan of where things are. That way, when they do pressure testing, they know to look out for ruptures or changes. So in other words, the government is worried and has ordered BP to stop. Suttles later said he did not know if BP will get approval to go ahead with closing valves that have been left open since the capping stack was installed atop the well. Suttles said the government wants to verify that the casing or the piping in the well is intact and that the oil would stay contained if BP shuts the well in. Suttles said the next step would depend on the outcome of a meeting of BP and government officials. Not only was the test delayed pending further analysis, but the drilling of the relief well that theoretically should permanently plug the gusher was also suspended. Kent Wells, a BP senior vice president, said earlier Wednesday that it was the government's call late Tuesday to re-evaluate plans for testing the new cap over the leak. And, again, in other words, perhaps it doesn't matter how many caps they put over the leak. And that plan was put on hold for 24 hours. Wells said the exact integrity of the well was unclear. It's a good precaution for us to take at this time. He also added, we need to understand exactly what's going on. And this is what's going on. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill is a physical manifestation of the book of Revelation. Revelation, chapter 8, verse 8. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became as blood. With oil still gushing freely into the Gulf, Wells said BP and federal officials will re-evaluate the best path forward after the 24 hours. But he did not commit with certainty to returning to the plan in place before the late Tuesday delay to shut the leak off by closing the valves on the new cap. Wells suggested other oil collection options might be redeployed. Yes, they are worried. We want to move forward with this as soon as we are ready to do it, he said. The relief well's time frame has always been hazy, with company and federal officials giving estimates ranging from the end of July to the middle of August before it can be completed. Wells said the test delay was ordered by National Incident Commander Thad Allen, who wanted to make sure everyone was clear on the steps involved and what the data gathered during the test might mean. This test is so important a decision was taken to give them another 24 hours to make sure this was the best possible test procedure we could execute, he said. But Wells declined to say if the company would definitely proceed with the shut-in of the new cap, which was its planned course a day before. The test is designed to tell if oil leaking to the surface is coming from a single leak or if more leaks are present elsewhere in the well, which is a real possibility. If it's the latter case, the company would leave the valves open on the cap and try to collect the oil with up to 4 vessels floating on the surface above. The oil giant had been scheduled to start slowly shutting off valves Tuesday on the cap, aiming to stop the flow of oil. A series of methodical preliminary steps were completed before progress stalled. Engineers spent hours on a seismic survey, creating a map of the rock under the seafloor to spot potential dangers, like gas pockets. The map also provides a baseline to compare with later surveys during and after the test to see if the pressure on the well is causing underground problems, which again are real possibilities. Allen, late Tuesday, met with the Federal Energy Secretary and the head of the U.S. Geological Survey, as well as BP officials and other scientists, after the mapping was done. As a result of these discussions, we decided that the process may benefit from additional analysis, Thad Allen said in a statement. He didn't specify what type of analysis would be done. Marine food web altered, and as attempts to stop the leak continued, scientists reported early signs that the oil spill was altering the marine food web by killing or tainting some creatures and spurring the growth of others more suited to a fouled environment. Near the spill site, researchers have documented a massive die-off of pyrosomes, cucumber-shaped, gelatinous organisms fed on by endangered sea turtles. Along the coast, droplets of oil are being found inside the shells of young crabs that are a mainstay in the diet of fish, turtles, and shorebirds. At the base of the food web, tiny organisms like plankton are dying, and then tiny organisms that consume oil and gas are proliferating. If such impacts continue, the scientists warn of a grim reshuffling of sea life that could over time cascade through the ecosystem and imperil the region's multi-billion-dollar fishing industry. And that too is a real possibility. And yes, there's something much bigger going on here. Everything is connected, and everything is numbered. Revelation, chapter 16. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. 2. And the first went, and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the man which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. 3. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. 4. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became as blood. 5. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art, and was, and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. 6. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And yes, it's time. That time has come. These are the end times transition days happening daily all around the world.